What's up, guys? It's a beautiful day in New York finally. The winter is pretty much over, so I decided to make a video today. I actually spent 2 hours before this video detailing this car, washing it after the winter. You can see in there it's still dirty in the fenders. I gotta get inside there, but for the most part I wash this car more than I washed it since I got it. I did some pretty big cleaning inside the areas of the car that are hard to get to, sides of the hood, inside the door panels, everywhere I washed it. And I actually got burnt. Gotta remember to put on sunscreen. So the theme of today's video is gonna be what is broken on my Jaguar. I promise you guys I'm gonna try to change that. My Jaguar XJL after 60,000 miles. So, without further ado, we're gonna start. The first thing that is broken after 60,000 miles, the driver's seat forward and back button does not work. Well, it works, but the motor is not working properly. The motor in the seat is broken. If I push forward or back, the seat moves like this. Sometimes it doesn't even move, but on a good day, it'll move like this while I'm holding it, still holding the button, like that. Luckily, I don't move my seat a lot, and luckily the seat on the Jaguar does not automatically go back and forward in this model. I'm not going to be fixing that, and no one else really drives the car but me and my other friend, and he's the same height as me. So that is just going to stay the way it is on this car. This car comes with a rear sunshade. If I was to push this button, I would hear just the motor trying to turn over. The shade does not go up, and I'm not sure if it's off the track or I'm not sure if it's just broken entirely, but it does not work. And something I won't be fixing either because I rarely ever use that. And it's been like that since I got the car. This was the most recent one that broke. The sunroof shade. Both these sunroof shades retract electronically. They roll up and both meet in the middle in here. One day I had my sunroof open, I shut it, and I tried closing it, and this did not work. It whirled up to here and then had a noise of like grinding gears when it got to this point. I had to play with this for about 15 straight minutes, trying to push this button and pulling it with my hand in order to create a perfect seal here. I'm not really a fan of sunroofs in cars. I never really use them, and they're just another area where the car can leak from. It's cool that it's a pretty big sunroof, but now it's just like I can't use a sunroof anymore because I'm not going to take this down to open it because I rarely use it in general. The back one does still open, but I'm not even going to open that anymore because I don't want it to break like the front one did. So it's just now broken. Probably happened over less than 1,000 miles ago, and I'm just not going to use my sunroof ever again. But throughout the 2 years of ownership that I own this car, I had maybe used a sunroof probably less than 10 times. Maybe even less than 5, actually. So I'm not even worried about that. There might be something stuck in it. Let me try this CD. Oh, wow. If you got a CD, guys, don't put it right back there because it's going to hit the top and it's going to... it might get your glove box stuck. So we just solved that. I don't know what CD that even is. So the other thing that's broken inside here is the LED light inside the glove box. Doesn't work. I got to figure out how I'm going to change that, but something small. Remember, guys, I'm going to be going over everything small and big in this car that's broken. I'm not nitpicking. I'm just showing you guys what does not work on this vehicle so you can see how it held up after 60,000 miles and 2 years of me owning it. The next issue is the door lock. Now, we're going to try this and we're going to see if it works on camera, but see if you notice something. You hear that? That double beep is the car alerting you, telling you that one of the doors has not locked. You also get that double beep if the hood is open and you try to lock the car, door is open, and you try to lock the car, and if the trunk is open and you try to lock the car. The door lock is broken in this car. I'm gonna push the lock button. It closed just a little bit. Now watch this. When I pushed it more, all the doors locked, and this door is now fully locked. There is a door lock actuator inside this door that I have to change. The part is about $200. Just taking the door apart and getting back here to change the part is what I'm concerned about. There is a code about this. There's a code for this on the system. It's not a check engine light code, but it's an internal code. On my friend's high-end scanner, we found something to do with that door lock actuator. The alarm does go off, even though I press the lock button and the door doesn't lock. The alarm does go off. Next thing that broke is this little chrome trim right here. It's been like this ever since I got the car, and I'm not really sure if this is common or not, but it's broken here and there. It's part of this entire assembly, so if I wanted to fix this, I'd have to replace the entire assembly. And I actually did that by accident. I actually tried to rub off some of the goo really hard on here, and I took the P off. But I'm just gonna use a paint pen to put that P inside there. It's a little upsetting, but you gotta be careful if you use my method for the Neutrogena makeup wipes to not do it too hard. And if you haven't seen my video, I have a video where there's a lot of sticky buttons on this Jaguar, and you can take it off with Neutrogena makeup wipes very simply. The next thing that's broken is, not broken, but it's not like it used to be. It's a seatbelt. When I wear my seatbelt on the driver's side and I let it go, after a while, it goes up pretty slow, and I have to manually start to pull it and push it up here when I get out of the car. Didn't really work on video right there, but it's after where I sit for a while. You can see how quick it's supposed to be, but crack on the driver's seat plastic. It's pretty rattly when you sit close to it on the side. You can see crack there, actually a crack all along here. You can see. I do put a lot of weight, yeah. It's due to the way that I sit in this car. So when I first come inside this car, I put a lot of weight on this side of the seat, and it does push along here, and I think that's how it cracked it. So if you're a bigger person, or if you sit the way I sit, expect to have that cracked in the future. This door panel likes to come off. See, it came off already. When I was washing the car in the morning, I noticed the door panel was off. You can see my hands go fully back inside there. I banged it back in. I thought I did a good job with it, but looks like it came out over time. So, I'm not sure if there's a clip that's broken inside here or just a defect, but I think what caused this was the panel being loose. The leather on the driver's seat. So overall, it's held up pretty well. Where you sit, you can see that it's faded on certain areas here. And the biggest part is here, the side bolster. It really depends on where you sit and how you sit. After 60,000 miles, it's starting to really show wear. And it also depends on the color of the seat that you get. It may show a little bit less wear with a different color seat. If I was to clean this up a little bit, you know, I can get out all these marks, those marks, but still, you can't really fix that without re-dyeing the leather on that part there. Another issue I'm having now is my control arm on one of the side of the vehicles are bad. It's either this side or that side, but when I brake really hard, the vehicle makes a noise and it moves the wheel. Telltale sign of a bad control arm. Gotta fix that. Another issue that's actually not on my list is also a common problem on this vehicle is the brakes. The brakes are squealing like crazy. Not even when I stop. When I'm just driving, you can hear them squeal. And then when I stop, it's even worse. You could take a listen to how the brakes sound in this clip. This car is prone to that. There is a service bulletin about it. that I'm going to go over with you guys in a different video, but that's another issue that I'm having right now. I also want to tell you guys something that I know you're going to comment on, just like all my other videos. Yes, there was a big panel gap here. I know this is up a lot. It has to be pushed down, and I know there's a panel gap here, a little bit of a gap here that I have to push this into. This car was in a front-end collision. I actually purchased this car from a salvage auction, and I fixed it up, and I have the car now for pretty much half price of what it was worth at the time that I got it. We fixed it up really well. There's some panel gaps we have to fix. You know, I can bend this back down, bend this back down. I could make, if you guys want to see a video on how I got this car, for how I obtained this car, how I afford this car, and how the salvage auctions work here in New York, let me know. I'll make a video for you guys. One really good thing is that this bumper that I got, it came from an area that didn't require front plates. So there's no holes here for the front plate. And I just can't, you know, push myself to drill holes in this bumper to put a front plate on. So I may put a front plate on there or keep it in the glass over there. But yeah, I'm not gonna drill holes in this bumper. And yes, I know this is crooked. I ordered a new one, and that's gonna be replaced. Just love the stance of this. I just love how beautiful this car is. Next thing is the rear glass. This is a big issue that I'm having right now, and it's of no fault of anybody's actually, besides the manufacturer. There was a service bulletin in 2006, around that time, that states that these glass are prone to internal flaws, and it shows you how to detect it for the manufacturer and the dealership, how to detect if there's an internal flaw or if there's an actual, you know, something that actually hit it. This is an internal flaw. You can see here the crack in the glass. You can see there, and it actually went down this way too. And it actually meets there and is going back that way. So you can look here. There's no penetration mark whatsoever on here. You can see there, no crack, no crack. Even inside, there's no crack. This is an internal flaw with this glass panel. And I'm actually going to try to call Jaguar and see if they can actually, you know, replace it for free. But, you know, I'm getting my hopes up for nothing. They're not going to replace this for free. But I do not want to get this replaced by a aftermarket glass. You know, I want it to say Jaguar. I want it to be Jaguar OEM. You know, say what you want about me. You know, I want what I want. And I can get it replaced for free through my insurance currently. But I'm not going to do that. I want to get the OEM glass. Through my insurance, I'd have to pay $1,500 for this, and I'm not going to pay that for this glass. So I can find one online for about $300-400. But the thing is that installing it and also having it shipped here, the guy won't ship it to New York with freight, and then having to get it installed. So this is a major, you know, issue for me, and you know, it just looks bad. You know, when someone's behind me, they can probably see the broken glass and they think that, oh, guy's driving Jaguar, he can't even afford. But no, I don't want to have to, you know, replace this glass with non-OEM. I want to get the manufacturer to hopefully warranty this glass, but I'll keep you guys updated on that, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The next issue we got are the rear speakers. So this car has the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins sound system. It's absolutely amazing. It is the best sound system I've ever experienced in a car, hands down. When you combine it with the ride quality and the sound deadening of the dual pane glass in this car, it just creates an immaculate musical experience. However, some of the speakers are starting to show their age. The speakers on the back, there's an option in the sound settings for surround sound speaker experience. When I have that on and I play music, those back speakers down there, they rattle. They rattle tremendously. And I actually had to turn off the surround sound system and they stopped rattling. But to replace those come in one whole assembly. It's this speaker and this speaker, and to replace them is very difficult. You have to take this entire back part out, and it's not an easy task. And those speakers are actually expensive as well. I think they're like $500 or maybe more for the pairs back there. that's with those speakers. And the other speaker issue is that I'm having an issue with the speaker. I think it's actually the driver's speaker. Certain songs and certain tones, the speaker rattles. It sounds like it's broken. And I actually bought a new speaker replacement for this. It's in the trunk. I actually bought it quite a while ago, but I haven't replaced it. I got to get around to doing that, and I will create a video for that. But my speakers are starting to show their age, but they're still great. That only happens on certain songs, and the rear ones don't make noise anymore. So I'm still able to get an amazing experience with the sound system in this car, even though that is not working 100%. Sometimes when I'm driving, the speed-sensitive volume it gets louder and louder when I'm slowing down. So there's no way on here to turn off the speed-sensitive volume, which is that when you're driving and you increase in speed, the sound will also increase in volume. Now, it only happens sometimes, very rarely, but when I'm slowing down, the music gets louder and louder and louder, and I can't, I could lower it, but it just does it by itself, and I can't turn off that speed-sensitive sound setting, which is pretty much a letdown, but, I mean, it's, you know, manageable. The next thing is, let me turn the car on for you guys. Don't worry, I promise I'm going to turn off the beeping sound. I got your comments in the end of the video, and I'm sorry, I apologize about that, but I didn't even notice it because I was creating the video. One thing I hate, you have to wait for all these alerts to go through before you can clear them. Clear, clear. This happens very rarely. What happens is when I'm going over a bump or something like that, a alert comes on like this. One of these show up, and what it is that it's this stock area here vibrating, and it's actually causing a little bit of an alert on there like this without the switch even turning. This hasn't happened for a while. You can see here that it shouldn't really move like this. I'm assuming that at a certain point when you go over a bump, it hits a sweet spot where it activates that little alert right there. But I haven't seen that in a while. The steering wheel over time has held up pretty well. Down here is starting to fade a little bit. A little bit down here, you can see the color is a little bit fading. Right down there. It's starting to rip over here. And there it holds up. But on my buddy's XJ, his rip is much bigger than mine. But just keep an eye out for it. The dome light. This dome light goes on by itself quite a bit. When you're hitting a bump or something like that, the dome light goes on, and sometimes you have to hit it really hard to turn it off. It should be just a little tap, like right when you touch it, it should turn on, but over a bump, it must activate it. I'm not sure why. I'm not even sure why it happens, but it activates it like this, and I gotta hit it hard to turn it off. These rear vents over here. These rear vents, when you start driving a lot, start going up on their own. Like that. Like this. So when you're hitting bumps over time, you gotta start you look back there, you see the rear vents. These are their resting place right there. And you can see that they start to go up over time like this. Nothing serious, but I guess just the rubber that holds it down has worn off over time. I just gotta push it down after a while. This car leaks washer fluid. It leaks it from a certain area. I'm not sure where. Someone online told me it's leaking from the washer fluid jets, but it leaks it. And I have to keep adding washer fluid. If I don't use the washer fluid at all, I have to add washer fluid. It'll leak out probably within a few weeks. It'll leak out. I think in the summer it's a little better, but in the winter it leaks out quite a bit. And I have to fill it up regularly, and I don't even use it at all in the winter at some points, and it just leaks out. I'm not sure where it's leaking from, but if I find it, I'll fix it. If not, then I'm just gonna have to deal with it. The armrest. The armrest. Now, I'm reluctant to show you guys this because it's gonna inconvenience me for, I don't even know how long, probably like an hour or two. But my armrest does not work. For some reason, I'm able to push it down over here, and it does not lock because this right here gets stuck. I'm gonna show you guys because I love you guys and I wanna show you everything that's wrong with this car, but it's gonna suck for me. So Oh God. Yeah. This comes off a lot. It falls off, and there's something else on here. It's like it's not stable. I'm able to turn it like this. Something on here is loose. But the main issue is probably gonna actually work for you guys. Oh, it works. I promise you guys that it doesn't work. See? There you go. Now it's doing it. This is what's wrong with my armrest. Oh, and there this goes. See? See? This is stuck down there. It is a common thing I've seen online. People have issues with this. You have to take this entire thing apart and clean this out. I tried putting alcohol down inside there, but what someone suggested, but it did not work. So now I have to hit around it until that goes up, and then I can close this after I fix this. Oh, I take it, I pull it out of the bottom, push it up, snap it in. But yeah, now I can't even use this glove box now because this happens. It broke again. This happens so much that I'm just sacrificing my glove box usage, and it's really unfortunate. Oh, this thing also over here. This is completely loose. I snap it in a few times, and then it comes right back out. A lot of this glove box is atrocious, just broken left and right, and it has to be fixed. One day I'll take this apart, I'll make a video about it, and I'll show you guys how to clean it. The steering wheel has play in it. There we go. All this is play. I'm not sure what it is. It might be this. See, this is not play, but there's play in the center of the steering wheel. It's like about an inch total of play. I'm not sure what it is. It might be the entire steering rack, which I'm not going to replace in order to fix that. But it doesn't interfere with my driving at all. It's just something that's there. The next thing is the rear view mirror droops down over time. With gravity, if I don't use this car for a while, it goes down, and I have to push it back up. With something over time that happened. The next thing is a few things actually. All right, let's see what we start with first. There is a humming coming from one of these pulleys when I first start the vehicle. This is after this is a cold start humming. When the car's been sitting for a while, you hear a very loud roar from one of the pulleys down here, and then it hums quite a bit. Goes away over time. There is a service bulletin about that. I will go over that. It must be one of the pulleys down here I'm going to try to replace and fix, but that's down the road. The liner on this car is falling apart. We actually glued it a little bit together. It was actually a lot worse than this, but for some reason that liner is falling apart. The next thing is, if you can see that right there, that is a zip tie holding some wires. So what that is the headlight wires, if they are not zip tied, will not connect the headlight. It won't work. You have to put pressure on those wires to actually be able to create a connection on the zip tie. Now, I'm not sure if this is because of the accident. The car was hit on this side, but that is why we have to zip tie that. It works. It's been like that since the car's been fixed, probably almost 2 years. It hasn't moved, it hasn't stopped operating the light, so it's gonna stay that way. But that's another issue on this vehicle. It could just be attributed to mine, but something to look out for as well. I'm gonna create a video on the reliability of this car and what I had to do with reliability wise. This is not a video about reliability. This is a video about what has broke over time after 60,000 miles in 2 years. You can see, that's not OEM. That is OEM. Quick little fun side note here. FOMOCO means Ford Motor Company. This is back when Ford owned Jaguar and developed this car. So, mass airflow sensor, why is that not OEM? So, the only time I had a check engine light the entire time I had this car was mass airflow. It was causing a mass airflow code, I think a circuit, mass airflow circuit, and it was side A or B. I forgot which side it was, but it didn't say which side, it just said A or B. And this happened shortly after I installed some K&N filters on this car. So what I think happened was the oil from the filters hit one of the sensors and knocked the sensors out of whack. So had to get a sensor. Wasn't that much, maybe $100 something. And then the hard part was figuring out which side was side A. So we put a sensor here, we put a sensor there, and we switched it up, and we realized that it was this side, and that's why that sensor is non-OEM. But ever since I replaced the sensor, it's fixed the problem, and I have regular air filters in this car, non-K&N. I may go back, I still have them in my trunk, but I doubt it. The next thing that is broken on this vehicle is that. That is the privacy screen for the door, and it is broken, as you can clearly tell. Plastic snapped off. I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe someone tried to pull it off the window and it snapped, but it can probably be fixed. JB weld or some silicone or Gorilla Glue maybe, but yeah. My windows do not go up with the key. Now, I mentioned this in my other video, but when you hold the lock button, you should be able, actually someone told me, when you hold the lock button, you should be able to pull the windows up. If you hold the unlock button, they go down. Hold the lock button, they go up, but it does not work on my car. And the reason why I think it doesn't work is because of my door lock. The car has to sense the vehicle is locked in order to put the windows up, and it just can't sense that. And speaking about locking and unlocking with the key, the next thing that's broken with my car is, yep, the key. Both sides, actually. I'm not going to pull that side off, it's actually on there, but it's usually both sides. And I have tried to glue this with everything you could think of, and it just keeps coming off. Keeps coming off, will not make a perfect seal, and it's just mad annoying. And when I try to put it back, you see it's falling apart completely, and it's just not good. I mean, it's a beautiful key, it really is. It's a lot sexier, in my opinion, and more elegant than the newer keys, but it does have that flaw. My exhaust clamp, the clamp that holds the exhaust on there, it's a little rubber clamp. Let's see if I can try to see where it is. It's like right there. The clamp itself broke, and this was hanging down a little bit. And I never knew that until somebody told me when I went to the post office. He was like, "Your exhaust is hanging down." I'm like, "What?" I go look at it, and it wasn't hanging down, but it was hanging down a little bit. But when I played with it, it was going up and down, up and down. You can see here, that's strong. But the replacement was pretty easy. My friend used his lift, and we replaced it. The rubber parts are very cheap from Jaguar themselves. I think like $20 each, something like that. Something very cheap. So, something to keep an eye out for too. Infamous Sunroof Rattle. So when I drive this car and I hit certain bumps or I'm just driving down the road, the sunroof creaks around here. This is a very common problem with this car. The sunroof rattle can be fixed. There are steps online. Mine is not too bad, but some people have it very bad where it just rattles nonstop. It's a rattling caused by one of the sunroof mechanisms. It happens here and there, but it does happen. The headliner has held up amazingly over the years. There are just some certain areas that I'm not sure if this actually was ever extremely tight on here, but it's starting to droop down on the sun visors. And I fear that eventually the entire headliner will droop like this, but it has not, and everything else is perfect in the car regarding the headliner. All right, so that's it. That's all the issues that my car currently has and has developed over the time. I took weeks to make this video to come up with it. I created a list. Every day I added to my list to make sure that I had all the things correct on the list. And yeah, so now I'm going to mention some things that aren't broke that should be broke. So the water pumps are a very common issue on this car. They leak and leak and leak, and I smell coolant. So I think I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to replace the water pump. It is a big job if you go through the dealer, and then it's less of a job if you go through independent. And if you could do it yourself, then, you know, more power to you. But it's a very common problem, and you are going to probably have to change out your water pump if you own this vehicle for a good amount of time. I luckily have not. The next thing that I think that, you know, has held up pretty well, that should actually be pretty faded in my car, is the start-stop button. It is not faded at all. Even along with all these other buttons, actually, none of them have faded. I push this button probably the most. I push this button the most, and then this button the most, and then this button more than any button in the car, the next track button, and it's held up pretty well. Besides the gooey buttons, but I've fixed those all on this car. The things that I feel will break are the turn signal stock. It seems like it's built with very cheap plastic on the internals, and if you push a little too hard, you can easily just snap this thing off. I'm surprised it hasn't broken over time. I think this is gonna break. And these headlights are very expensive. From the dealer, these headlights are around $4,000 each. That's always $4,000. You know what? Look up a brand new XJ's headlights from the dealership. Ask them how much it is, and you're gonna be surprised. I got this for used in this condition, $1,500. Okay, the headlight was destroyed. $1,500 for a used headlight off a car from 10 years ago. And if these internals go bad on this AFS system, you're replacing the whole light. There's no fixing that system. That's it. Lights out, new headlight. At least $1,500 replacement. So that's something that I think is going to break in the future, and that, you know, I wish this car did not have. That's it, guys. That's it for what's been broken on my vehicle. Actually, I just realized something that's broke. This thing. This little trim here. I don't know how it broke. I don't know why it broke, but it's broke. Can be fixed easily by getting it silicone down and gluing it, but that's something that came off too. Overall, this car has held up a lot better than I thought it would, even though some things are starting to break. The engine has been strong. There were a few things that went wrong with this car that I had to fix, but I'm going to make a video on the maintenance and reliability. So that's actually been my most requested video, was maintenance, how much it costs, is reliable, you know, can I afford to own this vehicle? And I'm going to make that video for you guys. I've been putting it to the side because it's going to require a lot of work, because I'm not going to make a simple video for you guys. I'm going to make a detailed video with Excel sheets. I'm going to use, you know, the dealership, if you're going to go through an independent shop, or you're going to do it yourself, on how to fix this car and how much it's going to cost you. I'm going to make up an entire video on common issues of this car and how much it's going to cost you. It's going to be a multi-part series on reliability and maintenance, the things that are common issues. And I'm also trying to get for you guys Jaguar official service bulletins. These are bulletins that they send to dealerships, service centers, about common problems on this vehicle and how to fix it, such as one of the pillars back here. They cause water to leak down inside the trunk, ruining your electronics, and it shows you how to fix that too. It mentions the humming of the pulley, and it also mentions back from 06 internal glass defects. So the next few videos I'm going to try to get to you guys. I know the next one after this is going to be a nighttime illumination tour of this car, how the lights look at night. The lighting in this car is the best of any car I've ever had, and I've had over 10 cars before I got this car, and the lighting inside this car just blows them all out of the water. The one after the lighting special is going to be the maintenance and reliability of this car, and then we have a lot more videos planned as well. So if you aren't a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Like, comment. I comment back to every single comment that you guys leave me, even the negative ones. I comment back to every single one. Any questions, leave a comment and I'll see it within a day and get back to you guys. Stay safe through this virus. Catch you guys later.